Good evening, everyone. Good evening, Jai Hind. I hope all of you are doing well. Good evening. So I hope all of you are doing well. Good evening. Okay. So I guess I am also properly audible and visible to all of you. Long time. Actually, see, there are certain issues due to which in this week I have not been taking the classes. I think we have taken we have like done 1 or 2 classes, and after that there was gap of 2-3 days. There is one more issue that in the next week, I might not be able to take the classes. Okay. So there is going to be a gap of 1 week in the next week also, because there is some issues due to which I have to go back to my native place. So in the next week, I would not be able to take the classes, but don't worry about it. When I will come back, then classes will be regular, and we will try to cover, even if there are important topics in the next week, we will try to cover them later. Okay. So we will do that part. Yes, आज late class because like if I just reached, you can just understand that I just reached back a few minutes ago, like 5 or 10 minutes ago. I have just reached, and then I am taking the classes. So that is why there is a slight late in the class today. In next week, from Monday to Friday, there won't be the class, but after that it will be regular. Okay. So till then time, you have the time for revision. You can like at the same time the Hindi current affair class will be going on, so you can watch that one also. That is one option which is always available to you. Okay. And when I will return back, then I will discuss some of the important topics which we will not be able to cover. Okay. So the topics which we are going to discuss today, one of the topic is groundwater contamination in India. So if you have seen the newspaper today, you may have seen that there is an article which is discussing about this one part only, that what are the different types of contaminants which are there, what is the sources of these contaminants, and also what is the impact of them. At the same time, we are going to talk about this another topic, hemophilia in India. So in case of hemophilia, we will try to understand what is the issue of hemophilia, and at the same time, what are the options for its treatment. That is also something which we are going to discuss. Third part, we are going to talk a little bit about the Indian economy. Like government has said that Indian economy is in a Goldilocks zone. So we will try to understand that what is this real performance of Indian economy with respect to inflation, with respect to wage growth, with respect to inequality, etc. So we will try to cover that part. And then we will be talking about this one topic, that what is a small finance bank versus universal bank. So these are the topics which we are going to discuss in today's session. Okay. At the same time, there is this one information for you, that UPPCS pre and mains foundation batch is there, which is live in English medium. It is online also and offline also. Okay. So offline also in Prayagraj, and plus at the same time it is online also. So this is going to start from 2nd of September. Now, let's come to the topic for today. The first topic is groundwater contamination. So there is one more thing. Some of you might also be preparing for EPFO. There is EPFO exam also conducted by UPSC. So today in the evening at around 7:30, we will have a session for that also, where we will discuss that what is the procedure of that exam, what are the pattern of that examination. So those who are preparing for UPSC, with a little bit effort, you can appear in that exam also. So we will discuss about it. So here we are having this groundwater contamination. Okay. You can see the heading of the newspaper itself, that how is groundwater contamination fueling chronic illnesses. Okay. chronic illnesses. So this is one topic which we are going to discuss first. Okay, Bharat, we will discuss about biochar also later. Okay. In the last 1 to 2 days, 3 days, I have not been able to see the newspaper by myself. Okay. So I will see that and then I will explain it to you. Now, let's say in simple, it is like using the organic mass and all to obtain a charcoal-like product. Okay. So here, can you tell me what are the major contaminants in groundwater in India? First thing is, this is one part, that what are the major contaminants? Can you tell me the name of a few major contaminants in groundwater? When we are talking about the groundwater, can you tell me what are the major contaminants in groundwater in India? Any idea about this? Uranium, okay, one is uranium, correct. Heavy metal, what type of heavy metal? Lead is there, yes, correct. So if we look at this, here we are having certain contaminants, like we are having nitrate. Nitrate is one of the major contaminant. Then we have fluoride also. Then we have arsenic also. We have uranium also. Then at the same time, we are also having heavy metals like lead, cadmium, chromium, mercury. Then we have other substances also like lead, cadmium, chromium, mercury. Apart from that, you will also find that like along with these, there is presence of certain microbes also. Microbes or pathogens. They are also present there in case of the groundwater in India. So there are so many pollutants which are present in various parts of India. Like if we talk about this, you may have seen that arsenic is something which is largely prevalent in parts of Bihar, West Bengal and other regions. It is highly prevalent in portions of eastern UP, Bihar, portions of Jharkhand also. Then we have West Bengal also. So these are the areas where we are having high arsenic content. Fluoride is also there in case of Rajasthan, Andhra Pradesh and other areas. Then we have uranium also in Rajasthan, Punjab, Andhra Pradesh, Karnataka, etc. So these are the areas where we are having high contamination of different types of pollutants. Now at the same time, like what is the prevalence rate? How much it is prevalent? What is the prevalence of contaminants? What is the prevalence of contaminants? Like how much they are prevalent in our surrounding? How much they are prevalent in our surrounding? So it is being said that around 85% of rural drinking water and 65% of the irrigation water, they are contaminated. So we see that around 85% drinking water and around 65% irrigation water, they are contaminated. So this much amount of groundwater is contaminated in India. What we also see that around like from time to time, there is sample collection from different areas. Okay. So what we see that in case of uranium, in case of fluoride, arsenic and all other things, like in case of Bihar, there has been reporting of 10 microgram per liter in Bihar, Punjab and other areas, West Bengal also, other areas also. So arsenic contamination is quite there. Fluoride level is also high, nitrate level is also high. So we see that almost half of the districts in India, they're having nitrate contamination, like fluoride contamination. Okay. So almost half of states, almost half of districts in India, they have got fluoride and nitrate contamination. So this is the prevalence. This is the prevalence of this groundwater contamination in case of India. Now the thing is, like, what are the challenges? What are the challenges which may arise due to these contaminants? What are the challenges which may arise due to these contaminants? Now, what we see that, like, suppose when we are talking about fluoride, fluoride is something which can cause skeletal and dental fluorosis, bone deformities. Arsenic, if this is there is a chance of cancer, skin lesions, neurological disorder. Nitrate is something which is associated with the very infamous blue baby syndrome, gastrointestinal problems also, and at the same time possible cancer risk is also there. When we talk about uranium, it is related to kidney toxicity and bone damage. If there is heavy metals, they are causing developmental disorder, immune suppression, and organ damage. And then we have the microbes also, which are causing gastrointestinal infection, diarrheal diseases. So these are the health impacts. These are the impact on the human health due to this problem. Due to this problem, what we see that there are issues of the health effects due to these contaminants. But it is no longer just related to the health only. What we see that it has an impact on agriculture also. It has an impact on agriculture also. Like in case of India, what we see that when we are having higher level of groundwater contamination, there is going to be reduced crop yield due to soil toxicity. So there is going to be a reduced crop yield. Reduced crop yield. So that is also one of the challenge. Then we see that like we have got so many ponds and other things for aquaculture. We have got ponds and all for aquaculture where we are raising fishes or breeding fishes. So they are also getting degraded. Okay. So degradation of aquifers. Degradation of aquifers. So that is also one of the challenge which we see in case of this groundwater pollution. But this is one part health impact. This is another part agricultural impact. So you can understand that it is going to have a socio-economic perspective also. It is going to have this socio-economic perspective also. Okay. So we know that it will lead to health issues, health will lead to poverty, agriculture, if there is reduced yield, though again less income, poverty. So poverty and vulnerability are the ultimate result of this. So here, what we see that poverty, vulnerability, poor health, poor economy, lesser human development or human capital. So all these are the socio-economic impact. They are the socio-economic impact of this one challenge. Socio-economic impact. So groundwater contamination is not just limited to having just the health impact. There is going to be a socio-economic impact also because of this one. Now, can you tell me that we know that these pollutants are there. Can you tell me why we are having so much pollutant in case of our groundwater? What are the factors responsible behind it? What are the factors responsible behind it? Here we have seen that there is groundwater contamination. We have seen that what is the impact of it. But can you tell me what are the factors which are responsible for it? Why we are having so much groundwater contamination? What is the reason behind it? Any idea about this? What may be the reason behind this huge contamination of groundwater in case of India? Why we are having so much groundwater contamination? Agricultural runoff, yes. Nitrate pollution. Nitrate pollution is mainly coming from the agricultural fields. That is, yes, one correct reason. Many pollutants are entering into the groundwater through our agricultural fields. So agriculture is one of the chief contributor, and it is also one of the areas which are going to be impacted because of it. Industrial waste discharge, yes, that is also correct. Industrial waste discharge is also one of the major factor behind it. Then what else? Medical waste. Okay. Agriculture, huge nitrous fertilizer. So if we look at this, the regions behind it. If you look at the regions, here you can understand one is the agriculture itself. In the case of agriculture, we are using fertilizers, pesticides. They are one of the factors. Okay. Then we also see that we are also having this industrial waste discharge. Industrial waste discharge. Okay. Then we also see that there is another activity which is mining activities. Mining activities, they are also leading to this release of contaminants in the groundwater. Okay. So that is also one of the part. Then solid waste, solid waste disposal, improper disposal of solid waste. Improper disposal of solid waste. That is also one factor. Okay. Now, at the same time, what we also see that there are certain geographical factors also which we cannot ignore. There are certain natural factors also behind the contamination. Okay. So, nature and natural factors. Rock present in an area. Like in case of Bihar, West Bengal and other regions, we know that the natural factors are also at work. When we talk about the Himalayan rivers are also consisting of some amount of arsenic. So they also have a role in the case of arsenic contamination in groundwater in case of Bihar, West Bengal, Jharkhand, Eastern Uttar Pradesh, etc. So the area through which Ganga river is flowing, that is rich in arsenic content, plus industrial waste is also dumped into the river, and as a result of that there is high arsenic contamination. Okay. So yes, mining is also one of the reason, and all these factors are there which are responsible for it. So now what is the solution? On the basis of it, can you tell me what will be the way forward? See, we cannot control the natural factors. We cannot control the natural factors, but we can go for organic farming. We can go for organic farming. We can also see that controlling or regulating industrial waste, mining activities, solid waste disposal, etc. So these factors can be easily done. Plus at the same time, like this is still going to take some time. It will not be done overnight. Overnight our groundwater resources are not going to be clean. So at the same time, we need to arrange for tap water facility, like drinking water facility for everyone. Okay. So drinking water facility, safe or potable drinking water facility. This is something which we have to make a universal thing. Means all the citizens need to have this one part. Okay. No, heavy water is not so much responsible for it. Heavy water is not considered so much responsible for it. It has nothing to do with this part. Okay. They increase the thermal pollution. They cause the thermal pollution. That is one factor. So this is one thing which we can understand, that what is the reason behind groundwater contamination, and at the same time, what can be the solution for it. Okay. So now let's come to the next topic. The next topic is about hemophilia. So can you tell me what is hemophilia? What is this disorder of hemophilia? Anyone, can you tell me what is this issue of hemophilia and how it is caused? When RBC don't clot, okay? When the blood clotting is not there. That's correct. So, a rare genetic disorder in which clotting factor 8 is absent. Okay. So, if we look at this, hemophilia, when we talk about the hemophilia, it is a genetic disorder. It is a genetic disorder. And here we look at this, that it is linked with the defects in X chromosome. It is related to the defect in X chromosome. Okay. So there is a defect in X chromosome which is responsible for this. Defect in X chromosome. Now in this case, what is there? We see that what is the result of it? Like if a person is suffering from it, what is the challenge? Blood clotting is difficult. Blood clotting is difficult. Okay. Blood clotting is difficult. Why the blood clotting is difficult? Because the proteins which are responsible for this, like thrombin, fibrin, these things are absent. The clotting factor, it is simply sometimes called as clotting factor 8. It is missing there. It is not present there. So that is one of the part. What we see, that the blood is not clotting in this case of hemophilia. It is a X chromosome related disorder. So can you tell me in whom it is going to be more prevalent? Is it going to be more prevalent in male, or is it going to be more prevalent in case of female? Okay. So what will be the challenge here? The reason is absence of proteins like thrombin, fibrin, etc. So they are somewhat missing. Okay. So if we talk about this, it is highly prevalent. When we talk about this, it's prevalent, like mostly in male. This is something which is mostly prevalent in male. It is not prevalent in females. It is mostly prevalent in male. Okay. And in this case, suppose that a child is suffering from it. Now, if the child is going outside to play, going to school, or like taking part in any athletic activities, if the child is hurt, then there will be continuous bleeding, and many a times it can be fatal. Many a times it can be fatal also. Okay. So this is one of the challenge. This is one of the challenge which is existing in case of this hemophilia. Now what we see that like in case of India, it is being said that we have identification of 29,000 cases of hemophilia on an annual basis. 29,000 cases they are being identified. Although there may be prevalence of around 4 to 5 times higher cases of hemophilia per year in India, but we are able to identify just a fraction of it. Why? Because there is lack of awareness among people. Okay. There is a lack of awareness among people. So this is one of the reason. This is one of the reason that why hemophilia is not given so much of like attention in case of India. Now, can you tell me one thing? Any similar disease? This is called as royal disease. Any similar disease related to X chromosome? Any similar disease like related to X chromosome? Sickle cell anemia, red color blindness. Sorry, color blindness. So color blindness is one thing which is related to X chromosome. Sickle cell anemia is not related to X chromosome. It is related to autosome. Okay. So here we see that in case of X chromosome, we have another part which is color blindness. So that is also prevalent in case of male only. Okay. Klinefelter syndrome is like the one case where we have double XY instead of normal XY. Now what is being suggested here? If you look at this, it is saying that prophylaxis. So can you tell me what is the prophylaxis approach? What is the approach of prophylaxis? What is the approach in case of prophylaxis? What is the approach of prophylaxis in case of this one part? In case of this one part of hemophilia, you can see understanding prophylaxis, the gold standard treatment in hemophilia care. Okay. So what is the meaning of it? See, wherever you see prophylaxis, it is like a preventive approach. It is like a preventive approach. Okay. So in this case, what is being done? It is related to prevention. So in this case, what is done is from time to time, there is some injections. There are certain injections which are given to the person suffering from the problem of hemophilia. These injections can help in having some clotting proteins in the case of blood. Okay. So it is about like providing injections. It is about providing injections. Okay. And these injections are basically introducing or ensuring blood clotting. Ensuring blood clotting in case of need. Okay. So generally you see that in the case of India, what is the approach? That if a person is suffering from hemophilia, they are given treatment in the case where they have hurt themselves, where they have caused some injury to themselves, then they are being offered the treatment. But there is one thing, prophylaxis care, where the aim is to make sure that the person is supplied or person is given some injection from time to time at regular interval, so that the person would regularly have clotting factor inside the blood. Even if there is a harm, even if there is an injury, there is no need for hospitalization, there is no need for blood transfusion or other factors. So that is the prophylaxis care which is being suggested, that in India we need to promote this rather than just focusing on that we would have treatment after the problem. Okay. But Indian people have a habit, okay, that like suppose, why are people taking health insurance in India? Or what do they think about health insurance? People think that health insurance becomes required when a person is about to become unhealthy, okay, or person is about to get some disease, or maybe he has got some disease. In that case, they are going for having the health insurance. Sometimes they try to avail it in previous dates, and also other challenges are there. Okay. So this is one thing which we see. In case of India, people don't see this as something which they need to do. They think that healthcare or health insurance is only for some people. It is not for everyone. And in India, we are not going for preventive measures. We are not going for preventive measures. Rather than that, what we are looking for, that once there is a problem, then only we will find the solution. We will not try to prevent the problem. Once the problem is there, then we will try to find the solution. So this is one thing, that in India, having this prophylaxis approach, it is quite challenging. People think that if a person is having hemophilia only, he would be careful, and if there is any challenge, then we will hospitalize. Okay. So this is one of the challenge in case of India, that prophylaxis care, due to lack of awareness among people, due to lack of sufficient awareness and incentives regarding this, people are not going for it. So that is one part. The second article about hemophilia. Now, gene therapy, yes, of course, vaccine is not available in this case. Okay, gene therapy is one option. Okay, financial burden, yes, of course. See, the challenge is why we are having higher rates in case of health insurance. In case of health insurance, we are higher rates because there are lesser number of people who are paying the premiums. So that is one of the challenge. Now suppose that government has started this one thing, Ayushman Bharat Yojana, and in that government is providing health insurance to people at let's say free of cost. Government is providing that free of cost to a certain section of the society. Now government can decide this one part also, that suppose they can charge some money from normal people, they can charge some premium from other people also, and then they can give some health insurance to those people as well. That if you are having, let's say, 100 rupees per person, or even less than that, when government is organizing it at mass level, then premium cost will come lower. If government is doing this one part, that government is going for cashless transactions in the case of hospitals and everything, and they are providing this opportunity that other people can also enroll in Ayushman Yojana or health insurance by giving some minimal premium. Like government has once started Pradhan Atal Suraksha Yojana, Atal Suraksha Pension Yojana, and Atal Suraksha Yojana. Okay. The government has started this accidental insurance and life insurance policy also. The government may start a similar policy with respect to health also. So that is one thing. If we invest more in this, the premiums are going to come down. The premiums are going to become lower. Right now we are having higher premiums because few people are taking the health insurance. As more and more people will start taking health insurance, the premium is going to reduce. So this is one of the approach. जिंदा रहना है, अमर नहीं होना है। हीमोफीलिया जेनेटिक डिसऑर्डर है, फिर पब्लिक अवेयरनेस क्यों नहीं? पब्लिक अवेयरनेस हैज टू बी देयर. लाइक सपोज दैट देयर आर अराउंड 1,50,000 people who are possibly having hemophilia in India, so they have to be told about this. Otherwise, how they would avail the treatment and all. So many people might not be aware about hemophilia. For normal people, it is not that part that whether it is genetic disorder or vaccine related issues, or is it viral infection or bacterial infection. For other person, it is simply a problem. So in that case, they have to be made aware about it, that these are problems and what can be the solution for it. So it's not about public awareness in everyone. It is about public awareness in those where there is more likely chances of this problem. Now, Indian economy. So here we are having certain charts which we are going to see, and through that we are going to understand whether we are there in that Goldilocks zone or not. In the last session, we have discussed this one part, that Goldilocks economy is an economy which is neither having too much inflation nor it is going in depression phase or recession phase. We see that it is a situation where employment is also general, like employment is not, unemployment rate is not very high, it is normal. So it is considered as a very good situation for any economy. So government has claimed that Indian economy is there in a Goldilocks zone. For a moment, Indian economy is in a Goldilocks zone. So that is one thing which has been told by government. But then there have been multiple such contradictions for it. And why these contradictions are there, let us try to see them one by one. First of all, inflation. Okay. First of all, inflation. If we just look at this one thing, in the last 1 year, from May 2024 to May 2025, what we see that the consumer price index has been going up to, consumer food price index has been going up to 10.87%. And in general, consumer price index has been reaching up to 6.21%. What we see that only in this year, from the month of Feb to May, it is less than this 4%. Only between the month of Feb 2025 to May 2025, it has been on the lower side. But in the last 1 year, it has been above 4%. It has been above 4% for quite some time. The consumer food price index has been going as high as near about 11%. So in the case of Goldilocks economy, we know that the situation is not like so. In case of Goldilocks economy, we know that it is not the situation. The inflation is not going so much high. It is not that much fluctuating. So that is one side of the story. The second part, salary increase versus real wage growth. In 2019, the average salary increase was 8.6%. But in actual, the real wage growth was only 5.2%. What we see that it has been decreasing. The average salary increase has been same around 9%. It has been around 9%, but the real wage growth has come down to 4%. We are adjusting it as per the inflation. We adjust it as per the inflation. So in the last 5 to 6 years, we see that the real wage growth has been quite on the lower side. Although the average salary increase in monetary terms has been on the higher side, like 9%, 9.2%, 8.8%. But in actual, if we see the real wage growth, it has been on the lower side. So that is the second side of the story. Okay. So this is one part. Then the third part, Gini coefficient on taxable income. Okay. What we see that, although in the recent calculation, it has been shown that Indian economy has become quite equal. But in one of the previous classes, we have discussed about that also, that how much wealth inequality and other inequalities are existing in case of India. We have seen inequality across wealth, inequality across income, inequality across gender, inequality across rural and urban areas. So we have seen this inequality factor also. In our previous sessions, we have discussed about it, that our inequality level is also on the higher side, despite what Gini coefficient is saying. So that is also one part. And at the same time, what we also see that the fiscal and revenue deficit. Okay. Fiscal and revenue deficit. If we look at this, our deficit has been decreasing. Okay. Trends in deficit, if we see from 2022 to 25-26, this is one part where we can see that there has been a consistent decrease. Okay. So that is one good part of the economy, that there are certain good parts of it. There are certain good parts of it that we have seen that our fiscal deficit is declining. Okay. But at the same time, despite this, our public debt is quite high. Our public debt goes up to like more than 80-85% of the economy. So that is one of the challenge, that despite a decreasing deficit, our deficit or our public debt is enormously high. It has to become this, you know, that by 2020 itself, there was a projection that our fiscal deficit will return back to like 2%, 3%. But also right now we see that it is around 4.4%. So in the post-COVID period, in the post-COVID phase, we have not been able to decrease our fiscal deficit. Okay. So this is one part. Our fiscal deficit is still higher. At least it should have come down below 3% or 3.5%, but it is still far away from there. Okay. So that is one part about the Goldilocks zone claim of the Indian economy. It's not that Indian economy is not performing well. Indian economy is of course performing in a better manner. In the post-COVID period, it has grown. It has grown at one of the fastest rate. It's not that economy is not showing positive trends. It is showing positive trends. But it's not that it has achieved perfection. There is a long way before we reach perfection. There is a quite distant, that is a quite distant dream. In past, Indian economy has crossed even 10% double-digit growth rate. But so far, we have been struggling with 6 to 7% of growth rate, sometimes even lower. So if we compare with 2010, 2008, 2005, what we see that our growth rate has not picked up that pace as before 2010. So this is one segment that yes, there is positive trends in economy, but it is not in this part of like Goldilocks zone yet. There is a strong like economy. Indian economy is strong. It is resilient, but it's not free from challenges. There are challenges which are also existing. So this is one part. Now, coming to one last section, there is one thing called as a small finance bank and another thing called as universal bank. So why we are discussing this? After a very long period of time, like almost 10 years later, what we have seen that RBI has granted universal banking license to one of the small finance banks. Okay. That Indian economy is dead economy. No, it has not been said by any of the Indian leaders. It has been said by the US president. It has been said by US president. And if anyone is saying within India, then perhaps they are not having that much information about the economy. The Indian economy is not like dead economy. Indian economy has been one of the very impressive economies. There are challenges. One of the very famous person these days, Donald Trump, they have said that if India continues to trade with Russia, if India continues to purchase oil from India, then India and Russia are dead economy. Yeah. So that is one thing which has been said by it. Now, here we are coming to this part, small finance bank versus universal bank. So can you tell me what is the difference between them? Like after a very long period of time, last time it was granted in 2014 to Bandhan Bank, IDFC Bank, etc. They have been granted this full banking license, universal banking license. And so after 10 years, after 10, 11 years, there is again this one part that a bank has been provided a universal banking license. So can you tell me what is the difference? What is the difference between universal bank and a small finance bank? Can you tell me what is the difference between them? There is one thing, a small finance bank, and then there is the universal bank or the normal bank. So can you tell me what is the difference between them? How do we differentiate between them? Any idea about them? See, when we are talking about the small finance bank, what we see here, that like this universal banks provide all banking services, provide all services without restrictions, without restrictions. Now these banks, small finance banks, also provide almost all the services. Yeah. Universal, like if we talk about the small finance bank, they are also providing almost all the services, like they will provide deposit, loan facilities, everything. But their target group is undeserved section, small businesses, marginal farmers, etc. Yeah. So provide limited banking opportunity, provide general banking facilities to marginalized sections. So universal banks have no such requirement that they have to serve only farmers or only others. They can be having corporate offices just only, okay, or they can focus on international transactions. So there is no such restriction on them. Like a state bank can have branches outside India also. You know that part. Okay. ICICI is having branches outside India also. So what we see that the small finance bank doesn't have that authority. They cannot go international. They have a limited national facility, that too for a limited consumer base. So that is their area. Okay. The universal banks have no such thing, like no such limitation. They can work in like investment banking also, foreign exchange also, derivatives also. Okay. So here we see that like it is a small finance bank, they have limited exposure. Okay. They have limited, like they are not, the small finance bank are not going for wholesale banking and everything. So they have a limited scope in that sense. Other than that, they are much more better than payment bank. Payment bank cannot give you credit card, payment bank cannot give you loans. But this is not the problem with a small finance bank. The small finance banks are banks only. They are normal banks only, but with a restriction. That restriction doesn't affect the normal consumer. That restriction affects if there is a large borrower or large capital borrower or anything. So it is going to impact them. Okay. There is one thing called as like a capital requirement. So here the capital requirement is rupees 200 crore. In this case, the capital requirement is minimum 500 crore. So that is going to be their paid up capital. This has to be the paid up capital. Now, if the universal banks, if they want, they can give money to anyone without any restriction. In the case of a small finance bank, not more than 10% to one borrower. Like suppose that a bank, both of them have got, like let's say 1000 crore rupees. Both of them are giving loan worth 1000 crore rupees. Their total loan value is going to be 1000 crore. So now in the case of universal bank, if they want, they can give rupees 500 crore to one person itself, and remaining 500 crore they can distribute in X number of people. But in the case of a small finance bank, they have a restriction that more than 100 crore you cannot give to one person, one company, one borrower. So there is a limitation that you cannot give more than 10% to one borrower. That is going to be one of the main limitations on them. Other than that, there is one more thing. In case of a small finance bank, there is a requirement that 25% of their bank branches should be there in unbanked rural areas. So 25% branches should be there in unbanked rural areas. Apart from that, regulations and everything is same. The only thing which differs is the range of operation. They come under CRR also, SLR also. They have to fulfill each and everything. Okay. They also have deposit insurance coverage. Each and everything is applicable. Only they have a limited scope. And their main focus is just on like unbanked areas, small borrowers, marginalized people. That is their main area. Okay. So that is a small finance bank. Nay, bank correspondent can be there in case of normal banks also. In case of normal banks also, there can be bank correspondents. It is not always required. So that is one thing about small finance bank. Small finance banks are not giving you options like you can invest in trade, you can have mutual funds and all other things. Normal banks can provide you all these services. So there is a challenge in that part. The small finance banks are just banks, right? The traditional banks. Whereas the universal banks are more than just banks. They are not just taking money and depositing, giving loans. They are doing all sort of facilities. They are working as mediator. They are working as brokers also. They are providing health insurance and so many other things. Okay. So these are all facilities available under the universal banks. Whereas in small finance banks, limited thing, but banking related things all can be done. There is no restriction that you can deposit only 1 lakh rupees or 2 lakh rupees like the payment banks. There is no restriction on that part. You can have checkbook, you can have like credit cards, debit cards, loan, each and everything is there. Okay. So that is the difference between a normal bank and a small finance bank. So after a long period of time, AU Small Finance Bank, they have got universal banking license from RBI. Okay. There is one benefit of a small finance banks. Like if you want to open an account, you don't even have to go to the bank. Most of the things are done using online modes. It is easily opened also. Okay. I don't know if you have seen that time or not, where like opening a bank account was one of the most serious challenges. Okay. There was a vicious cycle. Like suppose if you want a PAN card, okay. If you want a PAN card, so you have to give your bank statement. You have to give your bank statement. And if you want to open a bank account, then you have to give your PAN card. So this was the cycle. If you want a PAN card, you have to first submit the bank statement. But in order to open the bank account, you need the PAN card. So this was one system which was going on for a long period of time. Okay. Although after 2014, there was starting of this Jan Dhan Yojana, and after that banking in India changed a lot. There was rise of payment banks and everything. So then after we see that many things have changed. But at one point of time, this was the cycle. If you want a PAN card, you have to give a bank statement. But in order to open the bank account and have a bank statement, you need to have a PAN card. So find one, which one you can get first. It was like the same puzzle. That first, was there the presence of hen or was there presence of the egg? Which one came first, egg or hen? So same thing was here in case of banks also. अगर रूरल एरियाज को बैंक से जोड़ने की बात है तो आई थिंक RRBs are more better. RRBs have been doing much more better, like in terms of people know it, people know about RRBs more as compared to small finance banks. Okay, so then we will meet after a long time, like meanwhile you have Raksha Bandhan also, so happy Raksha Bandhan to everyone. At the same time, we also have Independence Day, so happy Independence Day also to all of you. And we will be meeting back on 18th of August. Today is 8th, so 10 days later we will meet on 18th of August, and then we will start with this current affairs part. Okay. So till then, enjoy the festivals, enjoy Raksha Bandhan, enjoy this Independence Day also. Then we will meet again in the next session from 18th. Due to some work, I have no other options. I have to go only due to some personal reasons. Okay. So then we will meet again on 18th. Thank you, everyone. Take care and all the best. Thank you.